We stand on this corner because our brothers have been murdered in this very area.
They tried to escape the violence of a bigger city, but found only grief on the streets of Indy. A heartbroken family calls to end the death and division.
In a neighborhood that has tried to forgive and move on, a destroyed house left standing is becoming too much to bear. Richmond Hill's fight to get this torn down.
And do you think you're getting convenience by ordering groceries to be delivered? But what one woman discovered on her bill now has her sharing this morning.
This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
And good evening to you here at 5 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starantino. RTV6 is working for you tonight with a warning that impacts anyone who uses grocery delivery services. A single mother reached out to RTV6 to share what she calls a devastating experience.
Her experience involves a grocery delivery service that works with more than a dozen central Indiana stores. Our Nicole Griffin is finding out what happened and what you need to watch out for.
Grocery shopping at stores like Kroger is easier than ever nowadays for shoppers. That's because you can order your groceries on your phone, pick them up outside the store, or even get them delivered to your house. That's what one local mother decided to do, hoping it would be convenient. But instead, she says it's turned out to be a nightmare. Crystal Silver is a single mother with a busy schedule. She decided to make a grocery list on the Kroger app and get her order delivered from the Mooresville store. Her groceries with delivery were estimated to cost $115, but she later noticed she was charged a lot more.
I actually had been charged for $173. So I started going down the receipt, and it started showing me what the people were buying for themselves. There was Nicorette gum, there was car chargers, air fresheners.
Kroger partners with a third party called Instacart, which picks out the order and delivers it. A Kroger spokesman says it is Instacart's responsibility to handle customer issues and refund the amount charged for items not ordered. I reached out to Instacart to find out where this investigation stands. They say the shopper in question who picked out Crystal's items is suspended and has been deactivated from using the platform. Crystal's bank has temporarily refunded her the money while the investigation is ongoing. Instacart says they are working with Kroger and will be in touch with Crystal directly, but she now has an important warning for online shoppers.
Go back and confirm on your bank account immediately to make sure that the correct amount is on there.
Tonight at 6 o'clock, we are taking a closer look at how Instacart works and how the company says customers' information is protected. Working for you in Mooresville, Nicole Griffin, RTV6.
Only on RTV6 tonight, more parents of the students wrongfully given insulin are putting Lawrence Township Schools and Community Health Hospital on a notice of a possible lawsuit.
Both the school district and the hospital are set to receive legal notices today involving 2 more students and their parents complaining about the September 30th incident at the McKenzie Career Center. On that day, 16 students expecting to receive an injection for a tuberculosis test instead got insulin.
Neither Lawrence Township Schools nor Community Health Hospital have explained how this happened. Now, 2 more students and their parents are behind the latest legal action, demanding to learn what happened last month.
Reasonable person following a standard procedure, it would be my observation that, yes, they're over an hour with 16 plus 16 injections, that a reasonable healthcare person would be able to recognize this within that time span with so many students doing these repeat injections.
With the latest legal notices, a total of 3 families are demanding answers as to why their children who don't have diabetes were mistakenly given insulin. Well, things are quickly changing out there right now in central Indiana.
Storm Team 6 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory can give us a first look at your changing evening forecast. Hey, Kevin.
Mark and Amanda, it is happening now. What we've talked about all week, the cooler temperatures, the windy conditions, and the showers arriving. This pencil-thin line, which goes from Carmel and near Fishers through Indianapolis down to just west of Greenwood, Franklin, and east of Martinsville, is the actual cold front. You'll get a quick wind shift, gust to 20 miles per hour, a little stronger, and the cooler air will start to flow in. Notice that's hardly kind of visible there, but back behind the front, additional showers. So we're not done with the showers. That wind will continue, and it is a much cooler wind. Notice south in Columbus and Muncie. Still on the mild side of the front. Back here in the western half of the state is where temperatures are tumbling. 47 in Lafayette and Crawfordsville. Indy's at 60, but just in the last hour we've dropped 7 degrees as the front's gone through. Kind of a fun night, perhaps, for Friday night football. We're not getting lightning, so I don't think that'll be an issue, but scattered showers, falling temperatures into the 40s, and it stays windy this evening.
For nearly 6 months now, people in a Southside neighborhood have had to look at this burned down home that you see here. Now, people in Richmond Hill have reported it to the Mayor's Action Center, wanting the city to tear it down. But there it stands. So they reached out to RTV6, and our Stephanie Wade is getting to the bottom of what's holding this up.
This home caught fire on May 6th, and now 5 months later, it's still sitting like this with piles of debris in the yard. Neighbors have been begging the city to tear it down, calling it a safety hazard. Looking at this burned out home, it brings back some bad memories. Just 5 houses down from where the Richmond Hill explosion occurred in 2012, damaging 90 homes in the neighborhood and killing 2 people. Now sits another burned down house after it caught fire in May.
Going back to the explosion, we'd had several of those houses stand for, a couple of years before they tore down. We're just trying to get back to our new normal.
The neighbors have done their part, reporting it to the Mayor's Action Center. The Marion County Health Department and the city's business and neighborhood services have been out several times to inspect, citing trash, junk, debris, high weeds, and grass. But the fire department was investigating the house fire for some time, so an extension was granted to the homeowner to clean up the property. Now the city has a pending demolition order on the house, and they tell me the homeowner has until November 11th to come into compliance. But it is on their radar. It's a story we will stay on top of. Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Thanks, Steph. And when we hear about people trying to get things done and coming up against brick walls, we want to tear those walls down literally. Reach out to RTV6 if you can't get a problem resolved. Call us or email workingforyou@rtv6.com. And we are now getting a better idea of what led up to a shooting that injured 2 Southern Indiana judges and involved a third. New court documents take us through a late night of partying and attempts to get into a gentleman's club before ending up in that altercation.
And now all 3 of those judges have been disciplined. Investigators say Crawford County Judge Sabrina Bell went out for drinks with Clark County judges Andrew A. Adams and Bradley Jacobs the night of April 30th, along with other colleagues. The 3 eventually ended up at that South Street White Castle parking lot where Alfredo Vasquez and Brandon Kaiser drove by.
A heated verbal altercation ended in gunfire, injuring Jacobs and Adams. Judge Adams pled guilty to battery. Vasquez and Kaiser are both facing charges, and today the Indiana Commission of Judicial Qualifications filed disciplinary charges against all 3 judges.
Well, they moved their family here to flee the violence of Chicago. Now they've lost not 1, but 2 brothers to shootings in Indianapolis. Today, this is the message from this fed-up group.
Enough is enough.
Enough.
Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
The community gathered at 10th and Rural today to rally the city in the fight against gun violence. Leading the charge today was a man who has lost 2 brothers in the last year to that gun violence. Richard Miller is pastor at Living Word Christian Church. His younger brother Quincy was killed last week. Miller says lives can't be saved until the community changes its habits to its core.
We have to get away from hush mouth, meaning I didn't see nothing. People need to open up, speak up. I haven't always been a pastor. I'm from the streets myself, but I've been born again. And now I understand that the change will not come unless the people that's in the community want to change.
That's right.
And they have to work together and not against one another.
Pastor Miller says it is up to both the community and its leaders to end the vicious cycle of deadly gun violence. A key witness in the House impeachment inquiry testified behind closed doors today. The former ambassador to Ukraine was removed from her post in May.
And according to the Washington Post, today she claims she was ousted by Trump over unfounded and false claims. Here's ABC's Inez de la Cuatera.
Counsel, or are you here alone?
This morning, former ambassador to Ukraine Marie Yovanovitch reportedly testifying behind closed doors that Trump pressured the State Department to remove her from her position. It's being widely reported that Yovanovitch said in her opening statement that her term ended abruptly, with the Deputy Secretary of State telling her that the president had lost confidence in me and no longer wished me to serve as his ambassador. In his now infamous July conversation with Ukrainian President Zelensky, the president called Yovanovitch bad news. She was removed from her post in May after coming under attack from President Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani. This as the two Giuliani associates arrested yesterday allegedly funneled illegal campaign donations from a foreign national to U.S. politicians to push for Yovanovitch's removal. Yovanovitch's opening statement reportedly saying, "I do not know Mr. Giuliani's motives for attacking me, but individuals who have been named in the press as contacts of Mr. Giuliani may well have believed that their personal financial ambitions were stymied by our anti-corruption policy in Ukraine." Two sources telling ABC News the business relationship between Giuliani and the men charged, now the subject of that ongoing criminal investigation.
These are two associates who were effectively Rudy's boots on the ground in Ukraine.
Meanwhile, lawyers for the whistleblower at the heart of the impeachment inquiry are telling Congress that at this point, their client will answer questions in writing instead of appearing before any committees in person. And after the State Department initially tried to block EU Ambassador Gordon Sondland from testifying, lawyers for Sondland now say he will appear before the House next week. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, Washington.
Still ahead at 5:30 on RTV6, adopted from an orphanage only to find he was reported missing before that. One man discovered his true past by seeing his own face on a missing person's website.
But first here at 5, Indiana's favorite annual film festival draws all sorts of talent, and we're getting an inside look at what you'll see next. Kevin.
And if you've been excited and waited for fall temperatures, they're arriving right now. Temperatures tonight falling into the 30s. What else to expect for the weekend? Straight ahead.
Any night of the week.
Today marks 3 years since the disappearance of a young woman from Kokomo. Karina McClarkin was 18 years old when she went missing October 11th, 2016. She was last seen walking down South Washington Street in Kokomo. Today, her grandmother and others will be walking from the house where Karina left that night to go to a gas station. That's where she was last seen on surveillance video. The walk will continue to an alley where police believe Karina got into a car. If you know anything about Karina McClarkin, you should call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. A $50,000 reward is being offered for information on her case.
100,000 people have now been evacuated in Southern California as wildfires burn, some coming dangerously close to homes. Powerful Santa Ana winds with gusts of up to 70 miles per hour are spreading those flames quickly. Officials say one man suffered a heart attack and died while trying to stop the fire from reaching his home. In San Bernardino County, more than 70 mobile homes were destroyed, the fire killing an 89-year-old woman. The cause of that fire was determined to be caused by a truck dumped on a roadside and igniting. And always this time of the year, you see those strong Santa Ana winds go through, so residents are prepared for it, but it's always heartbreaking to see those images.
Yeah. So you got that going on in the west. You've got significant snow in the northern portion.
It's interesting to hear about this all at this time of year.
Well, so whenever we make a seasonal change, it like energizes the weather system. Right. So you have a big temperature. I think, and this is off the top of my head, I think Denver's gone from 83 yesterday down to 13 by tomorrow morning.
Man.
So huge temperature drop. All right, the colors of our temperature change. Just to show you, it's 33 in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, 45 in Peoria. Indy with false confidence. We're on the very nose of the cooler air that's pushing to the east, southeast, and the transition will be complete when you wake up in the morning. The snow in the northern portion of the Dakotas now, and you see the spiraling area of low pressure here. This is the cold front generating showers. We've had a few areas of lightning earlier in the day, not expecting much in the way of any lightning tonight. The front's going through now. In other words, a cold front brings about a temperature change, often a humidity change, a wind direction change. We'll get all of those with this line here of showers. There are other showers back in Illinois behind the cold front in the cooler air. We zoom in from around Anderson down to Geist Reservoir, Fishers, through the east side of Indy. This is the actual wind shift. East of this, you've still got a south wind, but not for long. That'll switch around and come out of the west-northwest and be strong, 10 to 20 miles per hour, and deliver the cooler temperatures. And we'll say bye-bye for a while to the mild temperatures. 47 in Crawfordsville and Lafayette. Indy is at 60 degrees. And for now, temperatures in the upper 60s south and east of the metro area. Watch the temperatures fall, the cooler air flow into central Indiana. Not just tomorrow morning, but I think on Sunday morning as well. Temperatures will be in the 30s. 9 o'clock tonight. High school football games have the greatest chance for showers before, say, 9 to 11. And I think by 11, the eastern portion of the state will have the showers around. Check this out, Mark and Amanda. Romo is ready to go for a ride.
Hey, Romo.
Now, I think that's Mater, isn't it? From
yes, Toll Mater.
Kaylee sending in that
love
picture
it.
of Romo ready to go for a ride. You'll dodge some showers this evening. Maybe there's a cab you can put on the back of that to stay dry. Temperatures in the 40s at 11 o'clock tonight. This is what you'll wake up to. I do think we'll see some patchy frost, but not as widespread as if the wind was calm. So generally plan on just a few frosty spots during the day tomorrow. Sunshine to the rescue. Great day for college football. Upper 40s for the kickoff in both Bloomington and West Lafayette. Sunshine and a little warmer on Sunday, 64 degrees. Warmest temperature next week, 68. That's a week from today.
It's going to be a rude awakening, as you mentioned.
Yeah, it's always one thing just to talk about it, it's another to feel.
Well, and you saying that Denver temperature change going to 13 makes no room for me to complain that I'm cold tomorrow.
Well, all that weather changing could make things pretty intense for the football players tonight. We're looking forward to another week of Friday football frenzy, and it's going to be an interesting night with some of the matchups. A big one, Warren Central at Carmel. RTV6 Sports Director Dave First will be talking to Carmel football head coach John Hebert coming up live at 6 o'clock. We'll also be seeing a 6A #1 Avon at Zionsville, Cathedral at Brebeuf, Fishers at Westfield, Triton Central at Beech Grove, and Warren Central at Carmel, as I mentioned. You want to join us tonight on the news at 11 for all of our frenzy coverage.
And the jet lag for the Indiana Pacers may have finally worn off. The blue and gold are getting set for their first preseason game here at home. The Pacers played their first 2 preseason games of the season all the way over in India last week. The team ended up winning both of their games against the Kings, but now look to settle into a more normal routine. Now tonight they will welcome the Chicago Bulls to Bankers Life Fieldhouse. The blue and gold are working toward the regular season opener on October 23rd against the Detroit Pistons.
This week, the Heartland International Film Festival kicks off for its 28th year, making it the longest-running film festival in Indiana.
And over the next week, you have the chance to see more than 200 films in the Indy area. RTV6's Kelsey Anderson sat down with one of this year's filmmakers whose main character was born right here in Indiana.
Yeah, that's right. The Heartland Film Festival started last night. It continues through the 20th, and you can see more than 200 films. Now, I'm here right now with one of the film directors. So tell me a little bit about your story.
Hi, my name is Julie Sokolow, and I directed a documentary called Barefoot, the Mark Balmer Story. It's a really inspiring, uplifting documentary about a writer and environmentalist who walked barefoot for over 700 miles to protest climate change. This is an issue he was very passionate about. He wanted to make a difference in the world. And he was really funny, too. He was filming himself on the road, walking barefoot from Providence, Rhode Island, trying to head west. And so tonight, we're screening the film at AMC Castleton at 7:10, and tomorrow at 12:30 at Traders Point AMC. And we're really excited because our cast and crew is here for both screenings.
That's awesome. Awesome. So what does it mean to you to be one of the people in the Heartland International Film Festival?
It's so exciting. We've been working on this film for, 3 years, it feels like, and to be able to present the world premiere, and this is actually the state that our subject was born in. He was born in Indiana. So that's meaningful to us, and we love this festival.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much. And for more information on the Heartland International Film Festival, head to heartlandfilmfestival.org.
Thank you, Kelsey, for that. Coming up in Court TV, a death penalty case over the death of a beloved holistic doctor. Why this murder for hire case has a personal backstory.
And you are looking live outside from one of our cameras, and can't really tell where we're looking because of those raindrops on there, but it is a wet one today. Kyle Mounts will be here on the Now Indy for another look at those cold temperatures. You're watching the news at 5 on RTV6.
Sandwich for 75 years.
Hello and a very good day to you. I'm Julie Grant with Court TV Live, and we're bringing you live coverage of a death penalty case happening right now in Fort Myers, Florida. The state is in day number 2 of its case in chief. Defendant Jimmy Ray Rogers is facing the death penalty for allegedly being the hired hitman who killed a beloved holistic doctor named Teresa Severs. The state says that Rogers attacked Severs in her own home, bludgeoning her to death with a hammer. And to make it worse, the person accused of hiring Rogers is none other than the victim's husband, Mark Severs. He's also a co-defendant in this case, going to be tried separately. The state says that Teresa Severs had just returned home from a vacation when she was ambushed. Now, one man is already behind bars for his role in this awful crime. His name is Curtis Wright, and he's set to give testimony in this case. He got a plea deal. Rogers is standing trial first, then Teresa's husband, Mark Severs, is up next at the defense table. And we will also have full verdict coverage for you of the murder for hire trial we're also covering in Florida, this one in the Tallahassee area, where Sigfredo Garcia and Catherine Magbanawa, these co-defendants, are accused of killing legal scholar and former Florida State University law professor Dan Markell. We'll be bringing you live updates from inside the courtroom throughout the day here on Court TV Live. And as always, count on Court TV for gavel-to-gavel coverage. I'm Julie Grant. Now back to you in the studio.
Much more to come here on RTV6. All new at 6. Sports betting is only about a month and a half old in Indiana, but Hoosiers aren't shy about placing their bets, and the state is cashing in. How it's doing so far, new at 6.
But first on the Now Indy, a lot of smokers switched to vaping because it was thought to be a healthy option, but now the change in insurance that puts it back in the smokestack. You're watching RTV6.